Alright, boys and girls, Zapp here, back once again. This is episode number 18 of the Zapp Talk series. I know it's been a while since I've actually, spoken with you guys, like up front, one-on-one, whatever you want to call it. But before I get into the topic of the video, I want to go ahead and say check out the Facebook group if you're not already part of it. It's called S Tier Gamers. I'll leave a link to it in the video description below. We are a little over 50 members so far, going strong, and it's continuing to grow on a regular basis. So if you're not part of S Tier, go ahead and go there and enjoy some healthy gaming discussion. Now, moving on to the topic at hand for this episode of Zapp Talks, I want to talk about Mortal Kombat 10. Now, since the trailer came out in early June, or earlier this month, a lot of people have been upset at my reaction to the trailer. It was just a rather lackluster reaction to the trailer. I wasn't really that hyped for it. But I was basically just waiting for gameplay. Like, I didn't want to see a trailer. I'm tired of seeing trailers. I want to see gameplay. I want some information about the game itself. Then I'll get hyped for it. So, E3 rolls around just this past week, and finally the hype has been restored. I will say that everything that I saw with Mortal Kombat 10 or MKX looked absolutely amazing to me. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way. I, for one, am happy that they are bringing back the block button for Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has always had a block button. Since the last 20 years, Mortal Kombat has had a block button. You know what I mean? I don't see why people would be complaining about it. Well, Zapp, Injustice didn't have a block button and it worked out just fine. Really? That's Injustice. This is Mortal Kombat. They're two totally different games. Granted, they're made by the same, studio, and they do incorporate a lot of the same mechanics into their engines, but Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat, Injustice is Injustice. So I personally, coming from being a huge MK fan since childhood, I would be actually very disappointed if MK did not have a block button. So yes, to get that out of the way, I am happy that the block button has made a comeback in Mortal Kombat 10. Now, moving on to the various gameplay mechanics of the game. MK10 has run combos. You can actually run, not just a forward dash or a back dash, but you can actually run. Similar to the light of Mortal Kombat 3 and MK4, you can sprint and do run combos. Now, by sprinting, there is a stamina meter, again, similar to Mortal Kombat 3, etc. So you have to manage that very wisely. You can meter burn to help extend or EX, whatever you want to call it, to extend your combos and things like that. It worked out very well in Mortal Kombat 9, and some meter burn moves do grant you armor from what we've seen in some of the gameplay. So it does incorporate some of the mechanics from other NetherRealm titles, like Injustice as well as Mortal Kombat 9, and does them a little bit differently in this one. It combines them with past Mortal Kombat games. Alright. Also, the game does have interactables. Now, a lot of people are like, well, Injustice has interactables, so why are you okay with MK10 having interactables and taking that from Injustice, but not holding back to block and taking that from Injustice? Well, if you actually know a little bit of your history, you know that interactables were also in Mortal Kombat 4. You were able to pick up items off the ground and use them to your advantage, and they did a hell of a lot of damage. So interactables are making a return for Mortal Kombat 10. However, they are not as OP as the interactables in Injustice are. From what I understand, they are used primarily to get from point A to point B, get yourself out of a corner, things like that, or close the distance between you and an opponent who may be using a character that excels in zoning. And they are used to gain any sort of leverage, slight leverage. So they don't do insane amounts of damage. There aren't really any ridiculous setups with the interactables that can help you get a huge life lead at the start of a round or anything like that. So yes, Mortal Kombat 10 does have interactables. The vast majority of the cast is actually going to be new. Ed Boon has announced that there are going to be a few familiar faces scattered here and there, but overall the cast is going to be a brand new cast, sort of similar to the light of Third Strike or Street Fighter 3. You know, most of the cast in Street Fighter 3 was new, but you know, you had a couple new familiar faces, you know, Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, etc. So yeah, the game is supposed to be running at a smooth 60 frames per second, much like Injustice ran at. Locally, Injustice runs at 60 frames per second. Let's not talk about online. But Ed Boon did announce that it is going to be running at 60 frames per second. It's going to be on all consoles barring Nintendo consoles. So it's going to be on PS3, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. So the PC will be seeing a simultaneous launch with the other consoles, which is good if you're a PC owner. Now, my biggest hope is that you PC guys actually support the game, because you guys do not support Injustice and you do not support MK9, the PC versions of it anyway. So PC, show support to the damn game. Alright, let's see, I'm not sure if I'm missing anything here, but I'm hyped for MK10. I am hyped for MK10. It is the next big huge budget release for a fighting game that I'm looking forward to. Between now and the time that comes out, I'll be playing mostly Ultra Street Fighter 4, as well as you know, Guilty Gear when that comes out. But MK10 is probably the next huge fighting game release that I'm, you know, dead set on. Like, that's going to be my biggest dedication as far as fighting games goes. So if there's anything that I forgot to cover, let me know, and I'll address it in the comment section. I'll reply to you and whatnot. But yeah, man, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.